Hi, I'm Kelly with EpicMomsTravel, and welcome to the Hyatt Ziva Cap Cana. Okay, so here we are at the Hyatt Ziva Cap Cana in the Dominican Republic. We've just spent a few days here, and I just wanted to share with you our experience at this beautiful resort. First of all, definitely coming into this resort was it's quite the entrance. It's quite the, spectacular walk-in where you see, all these palm trees and just beautiful, you have these really deep blue swimming pools just throughout the resort. That's just, they've done a really good job with how beautiful it is when you come in. And one thing that I really love too is just kind of this sweeping view out to this gorgeous ocean, which is just this turquoise blue. So you can see kind of all the way out, and it is a spectacular resort. I really enjoyed this room because well, 2 bathrooms is absolutely key for us. We have a teenager, so the sharing of the bathrooms is not a thing at all. But it was a very large room, and I loved that really we had 2 of the same size rooms for both of us. Both of them have TVs, both of them have their own bathrooms, but probably my most favorite feature of the room is it has this wonderful connecting balcony to where both sides of the room you can go out onto the balcony, and not only is just really a spectacular view, but it has a jacuzzi on the balcony and a couch and a table. So seriously, every morning that we were here, I went out there in the morning, I got my my cappuccino out of the room, and I went outside and I just sat there and I was like, why do I not have this? It was really beautiful and wonderful weather, and you can just see the whole resort from the balcony. So I really loved that about the room. But this was a club level room, and so what that meant is when we checked in, at least, we were escorted to this Boss Lounge, the VIP lounge, to check in. And it was really cool because we came in and my husband, they escorted us to this private area, and we had a bar, and we had, my husband loves soccer, so they actually had a TV for us with a soccer game on, and I was like, oh, he's gonna love this. So this was our check-in experience. So it's very private. You come in and they check you in and provide you a welcome drink, and introduce you to your butler, and they hooked us up with an app, so they put you on WhatsApp, so you can always just kind of text your butler or the VIP lounge with whatever you need. So that was really nice. So one of the things that's kind of cool about this resort, it's 2 resorts together. So you have the Hyatt Ziva, which is the family side, and then right next to it, connected, is the Hyatt Zilara, which is the 18 and over side. So we were staying at the Ziva because we're here with our 14-year-old daughter. So we had access to everything here. We were club level, so we had access to all the restaurants, all the bars. There's a private pool area and a private pool bar for the club level. So If you're a club, you have access to all of it, but not just did we have access to that at the Ziva, we had access to it at the Zilara as well. So I thought that was really neat. And actually my husband and I, several mornings we would get up and our daughter, sleeps late, so she would just be asleep in the room. But we would get up and we would go walk over to the Zilara and get coffee and just walk around, and it's all, quiet and just really beautiful. And so they have a lot of like interesting restaurants, really at both resorts. They have a lot of really interesting restaurants, interesting decor. One of them's like in a train, it's like inside a train. That one is at the Zilara. But just know that if you are here with a group of adults and you have the ability to kind of have someone watch your kids, or if your kids are old enough to kind of be here alone, doing things, you can just go over to the Zilara. And we did this actually yesterday. My husband and I went over to the Zilara and went to the hot tub, and it was just, it's just kind of a different adult vibe. So it's kind of nice to have both. And I really enjoyed that. And there was no problem at all with just going back and forth, and it's all included, in both, in your cost for staying here. Oh, and let me tell you, they also have this like cute little martini bar over at the Zilara, which I really liked. Between the two resorts is kind of this connecting pathway, and they have the Marquis Theater there, and a lot of the nights, really pretty much every night, they have something happening there. One night that we were here was like a magic show, and it was they'll usually have like a show. It's kind of like an outdoor theater, but they also have activities for the kids. Like they were doing Just Dance, so they had like the whole Just Dance video game up on big screens, and the little kids were like dancing with it. It was very cute, and I could definitely remember a time when my daughter was younger that I would have been like, please go over to Just Dance so that I can sit here at the bar that's right next door and have a drink while you're doing that. So they have a nice sports bar in the middle that's kind of shared by the two resorts. It's called Moments, and it's nice because it has like an outdoor area, but then the inside has like a pool, pool tables and big screen TVs, and they were playing like different games like soccer, basketball, or whatever on those, and you can just go in there and hang out and watch, have a drink and chill. So that's kind of a shared part of the resort. So, I'm here with my husband and my 14-year-old daughter. So I don't anymore have super young children, but I do want to mention that this resort seems to have a lot of neat things for the little kids that I would have really loved if my daughter was still young. So they have a whole separate, not only do they have this really, really nice pool area right in the middle of the resort, but they have a whole separate area that's like, it has a big water slide, and it has the kids club is over there, and also a teens club is over there, which has video games and stuff in there. But the kids club is there, and they've got different sizes of pools. So they have smaller pools for the little kids, but just it's a really nice area, and they have a lot of activities for the kids also, like all day long. So you can look at that every day and just kind of see what they have. But like we saw some different events happening, like they were doing a cute little painting class on the beach with some of the kids. It's kind of like that where they should tell you how to paint. I was kind of like, oh, I wish they had this for the adults. Maybe they do, but it was very cute. They were doing that for the kids. I saw another time when they were doing crafts for them, and so they seem to have a lot of things happening for the younger ones, which I would have really enjoyed when Amber was little. So one day Amber and I went to the spa. We definitely wanted to go to the spa while we were here. Because it's really a unique spa. It's very different. I've never seen another one like it. It looks just like a cave. And so of course we have to go in there. But you go into this big cave experience, and it's like caverny as you're walking around. But in the center, there's kind of this beautiful hydrotherapy circuit that's open, and it's got this pool with like hanging vines, and it was really a beautiful spa. We really enjoyed our treatments there. We both got facials. I got a bioluminescent facial, and she got like, I think, a volcanic clay facial. So really nice spa. I would definitely recommend going there. And the hydrotherapy circuit looked really interesting. We didn't do that, but you can do that as well. So the way the restaurants work here is there's no reservations. You can't make a reservation ahead of time. You just have to go, wait in line, and put your name on the list. But it really hasn't been a problem. We haven't really waited that long for anything. The restaurants that we went to, they have one called, I'm gonna forget, it's like Tempest, but it has this really cool big statue of like a Buddha sitting there. And so we thought that was pretty cool. So we wanted to go to that. Tempest Table, I think that's it. But it's like a combination hibachi, and you can also do just a sit down dinner. So we did just the sit down, and we had sushi, and we had dumplings and edamame, and we had kind of like a chicken fried rice, with meat and different things, like almost something you would have from a hibachi, but we had it just at our table. But that was really good. We enjoyed that meal a lot. And while you're waiting for your table, actually, there's a nice little rum bar right outside. Both of the restaurants that are kind of, I don't know, right below the lobby, there's a nice little rum bar, and they'll bring you drinks. You can just sit there and wait, and it's a nice, pleasant place to wait. But the other restaurant that we went to, right next to it, is called Noodle Thread, and that's the Italian restaurant. And they have all these kind of interesting looking shoes, or like shoehorn things, like from cobblers that make shoes. But it's the decor of all the restaurants here is really, really interesting and cool. So I would definitely recommend just walking around and looking at all of them, even if you don't go to all of them, because we enjoy that a lot. The Noodle Thread was the Italian restaurant, and I thought that was really good. They brought us at the beginning like kind of an antipasti plate that had meats and cheeses and blue cheese and jam and walnuts and things like that you could just kind of snack on before you got your main meal. And then you can just order all kinds of things. I got actually a couple different things. I had like pumpkin soup, and I had a mushroom risotto, and I had like a blue cheese and pear pizza that was really good. And at the end, of course, we had tiramisu and panna cotta and some different Italian desserts. So that was a really good one. We liked that one a lot. One night we went to the Navigator Grill, which is in the middle of the pool area, and it's like a seafood grill. And so that one is kind of just an open air and kind of like a very fresh place to eat, which was nice. And then one morning, my husband and I went to the Chinola Grill, which is a club-only restaurant, and we had breakfast there. So that one is really kind of close to the water. So we had this beautiful view, and we had good food there. It was, good breakfast. I had this most beautiful poached egg, maybe the most beautiful poached egg I've ever seen. It was just so pretty. I wanted to like take a picture of it instead of eat it. But I had like an eggs Benedict, and my husband had like a Criollo breakfast, which had some kind of combination of meats and fried cheese and eggs, and it was just avocado. So they had kind of a lot of. One thing I definitely noticed at this resort is they have a lot of options for healthy things to eat. Like they even at the, coffee bar, they have, the post-workout, smoothie or, things like that. There's a lot. I've noticed that a lot of different places in this resort that I haven't necessarily seen at every resort that we've been to. So if you're, looking to stay on a diet or looking to kind of keep your diet going as you're here, then you won't have a hard time doing that here. So, one thing that we ended up doing is eating down at the pool. And they make that easy to do here because they have a nice little snack bar I think it's called Prontoz. But you can just go up there and order. They only have, I think there's only 2 things you can order, but it's like 2 easy things that everybody's going to eat, which is nice for kids, So you can order pizza and you can order burgers. And so basically just walk up there and they give you a little, one of those little things that like rings when it's ready. And so you can just go back to your pool chair and wait for it. So that was really convenient. You can just kind of take it down to the pool and keep, hanging out at the pool. You don't have to leave and go eat somewhere if you don't want to. We also really enjoyed they had this really nice market buffet area. And I think the decor here is really kind of cool and eclectic. I really enjoy kind of looking at all the different things that they've done around the resort. It's kind of artsy, a little artsy, excuse me. But the market, it's a buffet and you can just kind of go around and pick all the different things that you want. And they have typical things like pizza and they had a pretty nice salad bar. They made me like a really nice Caesar salad one day. But they also had, different things like Mexican food and Thai food. And they had an area of like fish that you could get that. Oh, I will tell you this, the ice cream is really delicious at Market. So the pistachio ice cream, if you like pistachio ice cream, which is my favorite, it was like next level, really, really good. Let me tell you this about the pool. Gorgeous pool. The whole thing pretty much connects, so it's kind of almost like a river that runs all the way through, and then at the very end you have this really big, nice infinity pool that looks out onto the ocean. So that's great. Here's what I'll say about the pool. Whatever time they tell you need to get down there to get a chair, go earlier. Because when we got here, we were originally told, oh, you can go down about 9, and put your towels or put your stuff on chairs to reserve them. And so I did that one day, and I found that really most of the chairs were taken by then. Certainly all the ones like with really good view were taken. So we ended up kind of back, which is fine. I mean, it's still a beautiful pool. I mean, I'm not complaining about that, but so here's what I did the next day. The next day I went down at 7 and it was still busy. So I was able to get like the last 3 chairs on the front of the infinity pool. So my tip is go earlier than you think you need to go, probably between 6 and 7 if you want a really primo location down there. But what you can do is just they have towels down here. They had plenty of towels, no problem with the towels. So you can just come down and grab a towel and take something like flip-flops or a little bag or something and just set it on your chairs. And once you've done that, nobody will mess with them. They're like reserved for you for the day. So just get up, go down and do it, and you'll be glad. But we really had fun, like just laying there, hanging out by the pool. The pool chairs are free. They do have the big kind of cabana bed things. You do have to pay for those extra. So if you want those, you'll need to reserve those ahead or reserve them with your butler, and you can, pay extra for those. Some people, really liked that. We had like a big family kind of near us where they were just all sharing one. And so that seemed to be kind of a good solution. They're like right there in the infinity pool. So it's kind of nice. They also have, a nice area for just the club members. So if you're staying in a club level room, which we were, you have like a nice area of the pool that's only club, and it has only a club pool bar. So, you know, and they were doing like massages over there. They bring little massage chairs from the spa, and, you know, it's a nice little kind of private area over there if you want to take advantage of that. I will say at this resort, like, the beach here is just beautiful, gorgeous. It's this white sand that's like really expansive. It's actually easy to walk on too. You know how some sand you really can't walk on it, you like sink into it. The sand is pretty easy to walk on. It's really, it's not hot, it's just pretty. And but the water is the thing. I mean, it's just like this turquoise blue. It's like you could just stand there and look out, and you really feel like you're on vacation because it's gorgeous. And you know, some resorts I've been to kind of block the view somehow from the resort to the water. Like, I don't know why they do that actually, but this one does not do that. Like, you can just see all the way out even from just the lobby. You can see all the way out to the pool, all the way out to the ocean, and it's just gorgeous. And sometimes they'll do activities on the beach. You know, every day they have kind of a schedule. So, you know, they have like beach volleyball and some beach games. They do, you know, like water aerobics in the pool if you want to do that. Sometimes they do bingo. You know, they have like a different lineup of things you can do. But it's a really, really beautiful beach for sure. Here's one thing to definitely be aware of. There are no ATMs at this resort. So we thought we brought plenty of cash, but turns out we did not. And so we wanted to get money from an ATM, but I just want to make sure you're aware they do not have ATMs here. They will, like, get a cash advance, but that they do charge you like 10% to do that on top of, you know, the credit card charge. So just be aware, bring plenty of cash with you, so you don't have to incur those fees. You know, this is a resort that, you know, if you're a little hesitant about traveling, not sure, you know, to a different country, this resort will feel very familiar to you. It's like a lot of resorts that I've been to in the United States. So it's, you know, it's got very familiar foods, it's got familiar music, it's got, you know, it's kind of, it's a little microcosm. So, you know, it could be a good place to go for like a first international trip for a young family. Okay, well, that's it for today. I'm Kelly Davidson with Epic Moms Travel. Be sure to follow me here, and I will see you at the next resort.